Oh, yeah.
Listen, please. All the pipes you hear, Braveheart, or Irish wooden pipes are called. That's my lesson for today. Well, maybe one more.
Morning, everybody. To call this Ways and Means Committee meeting to order. First matter of business is the approval of the February 11th minutes.
So move. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Next matter is public comment on any agenda item. Is there any public comment on any agenda item? Any public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to the rules portion. We have a rule that was brought to us, I think, last month. That were minor changes in the current committee structure and the current travel and reimbursement policy. So I would entertain a motion to recommend this go to the full board tomorrow.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Commissioner Collins.
Just a question, and I've been asking here, and nobody knows. 3.20.5, township and county poor. Who are the county poor and how are they determined? Anybody know?
I certainly don't know.
Okay, just curious.
Do we need to revisit the rule?
I assume it was in there for probably an older issue, an older time. I would really not want to hold up the policy for that. It's of no value.
Okay. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Next, we have for board appointments our March statement. It's like we're recommending Ms. Ambrose to the Local Emergency Planning Committee, Homeland Security, Department on Aging, Chris Peoples and Alan Dickerson, Region 2 Planning, Dustin Krasny, and the National Community Mental Health Authority Board, Nancy Eaton, Nate Smith, Aaron Starlin, and Tim Kelly. Entertain a motion to recommend these forward to the board.
So move.
Support.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Commissioner Ongst.
Just curious on the three that are showing vacant, are we doing anything to try to fill those?
There are perpetual vacancies on this list, and I'm pleased to see somebody's found somebody from District 7, my district. I'm not sure how that happened. So anybody that can identify people from those districts that we willing to serve, bring them forward to Jim, and we'll take the matter up here.
Do some looking.
We're always looking for people.
Okay.
Commissioner Collins.
For information, the Department of Aging has 2 applicants now, other than the ones listed, who may fill those positions.
Great.
And there's one individual interested in the 911 board who will be discussed at the next meeting. That's tomorrow, I believe, or it's Thursday.
Okay.
Good point. Yep.
Any other discussion? Let me see. We've had a motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The next matter is the Bridging the Gap Subcommittee. Commissioner Van Doren.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask that be postponed until tomorrow's meeting. We just noticed that there was a person from Monroe County that was on there, and we think it should be Lenawee County people. So we're gonna try to contact somebody and see if we can get that change made. So I would move to postpone till tomorrow's meeting.
Is there a second?
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Next, we go to our employment changes. These are in our packet just to keep us abreast of what's going on in the county. Any questions or anything on that report before I jump to the employee anniversaries? Seeing none, we'll take a look at the employee anniversaries. We see that some of the folks have been with us for well over 20 years and one person 38 years. So we certainly appreciate that long service to our county and the people of our county. Any discussions or comments on that before we move on? Moving on. We have a request here for circuit court to reclassify friend of the court attorney referee. Is there any questions on that before I entertain a motion? I would entertain a motion to approve, let me see, are we recommending this change? Yes, recommend this change.
So move.
Support.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Maybe Kim could explain.
You want to offer some comment?
This is a position that is a full-time position. However, when we were doing the wage and compensation study, this particular position, the caseload was much, much lighter than its comparable referees or magistrates throughout the courts. Since then, that caseload has increased. And so we want to make sure that the position is equal with the other positions that are similar in nature. And so we are recommending that the grade classification be brought up to that of the other referees and magistrates in the court.
Other questions or comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Next, we have 4 items, all involving the drain board. Unless there's an objection, I would entertain a motion to adopt all 4 of these concurrently.
I would so move.
Support.
Oh, for me, 3.
Three.
We're going to be creating an account clerk 3 position, create 2 system operation leaders, and then close 2 utility operator positions. Oh, I printed this out twice. That's why I have 4. Forgive me. So it was moved and seconded.
Was kind of lucky.
Commissioner Van Doren.
So maybe we could get an explanation just for clarity purposes from either the drain commissioner or the administrator.
Kim?
I can take that for you. I mean, if you'd like to add anything that you may. As our new drain commissioner came on board, he looked at his office and we knew that there was going to be a bit of a reorganization. If you remember, during the budget process, we did not do anything in the drain commission as we were expecting that there would be some organization that would take place. As part of that, there are some personnel within the office, the one person in particular that was moved into the deputy drain commission position, one of the drain commission positions. And as a result of some of the other office staff, the workload that they are seeing and the workload that is being left behind by the person who's moved into the new position. A new job description was created with kind of those leftover responsibilities, if you will. This position, the account clerk 3 position, is a lower paying position than the previous office manager position that handled some of these job requirements. And so based on the needs of the office at the time, we were recommending that the account clerk 3 position be created so that we can advertise for that and have some more assistance within the drain office. On the other 2, those of you that have been on the board for a while would recognize that we often will open and close these next 2 positions depending on the experience level of the people that we have filling them. As you can imagine, the systems operation leaders require more experience within the systems than the more entry-level operator positions. We currently have the situation where the operators have now acquired the necessary experience and education to fill the system operation leader positions. By doing this, we'll be able to have leaders at each of our stations, which is the goal. So what we're looking for is to be able to reclassify the 2 utility operators into the systems operation leaders. To do that, we need to open up these 2 leader positions, and then what we will do is close the utility operator positions. So that's what we're doing within the Drain Commission.
Commissioner Collins.
As I understand, there is no general fund cost to this.
That is correct. Other than, I should say, we do give the drain an appropriation annually, but yes, these will be covered by the drain.
I would just comment that Jim and I had the pleasure of attending the first drain board hearing with the new commissioner, and he did a fantastic job and looks to be a great asset to the community. So I'm looking forward to working with you in the future. Any other discussion on this matter before we vote? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Now we turn to Administrator Murphy for the finance reports.
So I want to present the finance reports a little bit differently this month. I typically go into each of the different funds. However, we are in the middle of preparing for the audit, and we are moving revenue and expenditures back and forth. So I'm going to do more of a summary. So as of February 24th, the general income statement will show, I'm going to scroll to the last page of that report. Going to see revenues of $3.3 million and expenditures of $5.3 million as of that date. We move on to the fund equity changes report. I'm going to basically go by fund category. And as you can see at the top of the page, we've got the general fund numbers that I just provided. But if you continue through to page, I'm not sure what page it is on yours, but the fund category, general fund totals, you'll see year-to-date revenues of all those funds that fall underneath the fund category, governmental funds, of $9.1 million in revenues and just over $10.7 million in expenditures. The remaining fund category, called proprietary funds, which is your last page, shows within these proprietary funds, we have $4.177 million in revenues to date and $3.3 million in expenditures. Currently, your grand totals for all governmental and proprietary funds, we show a year-to-date revenues of $13.3 million and year-to-date expenditures, of just over $14 million. As I said, these reports will be updated. We could update them daily and they would change slightly depending on some of the adjustments that we are making. So I expect that next month I'll go into a little bit more detail on the reports for you.
Any questions on the reports, Commissioner Stimson?
Just simply that for the audience listening, that it's not uncommon for us from the first 8 months of the year to deficit spend a little bit because the bulk of our revenue doesn't come in until August, September, October from property taxes.
And if the folks want to change that, they're free to mail their checks in early. Thank you. Anything else before we move on? Okay, we have the request for authorizing the second quarterly allotment of allocations for the period April 1st through June 30th.
So move.
Is there a second?
Support.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Next, I think we have a PA 116 application. This is actually in Ogden Township. I know these folks. So I'd entertain a motion to recommend approval of this PA 116 application number 383.
So move.
Support.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Commissioner Tillotson.
How many years?
Oh, I looked at that because I knew you were going to bring it up and I don't remember. I'd have to, I can find it here.
I believe it's 30 years.
I thought it was a long one too.
Again, I don't mind letting people do that. That's fine. It's when they want to get out and they condemn their parents that did it before them and tell them they're unworthy and sick and didn't know what they were doing. Those people, when they did it, knew exactly what they were doing. So everybody come on in, but when you want to get out, it's a different game.
Understood. Commissioner Stimson.
Yeah, just to answer Commissioner Tillotson's, it's 48 acres for 30 years with no buildings.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments before we proceed to vote? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Next, we have a request for some services from Mead and Hunt with respect to our, I guess, newly reconstituted airport zoning board. Do you want to give us any background on that, Administrator Murphy?
Sure. As we begin to have the potential to have more activity with our zoning board of appeals, and as part of the recent appointment process where the Board of Commissioners were established as the zoning board, we thought it might be helpful to bring in an individual that could provide some training to everyone so that you fully understand what your roles and responsibilities are. To that end, Ms. Stephanie Ward of Mead and Hunt is that individual who has been working with the airport and giving us guidance in the past. And we thought it was only fair to enter into a separate agreement for her to provide some general services to us for those purposes. So what you have in front of you is a general services agreement with her. And what we're doing is we're asking for approval of that agreement and authorizing Board Chairman Jim Van Doren as a signatory.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Matter carries. Administrator Murphy, maybe you'd give us a little more background on the ever-changing world of earned sick time. Isn't that next on our?
Yes, let me get to that. Hold on one second. A lot of pages here in my packet. Okay. Last month, we brought you the earned sick time policy, which is the result of a requirement by the state legislature that we implement sick time for our employees now. On the evening, so that policy was to take effect on February 21. At midnight, the night before, the state legislature made some amendments to the policy. Most of the amendments that were made were not mandatory, but they gave the employers some additional options. In this case, there was an option that was provided that we would like to include in the policy. That provision states that employees can carry over unused accrued paid earned sick time not to exceed 72 hours from 1 year to the next. Previously, there was not a limit, which allowed employees to carry over an unlimited amount of sick time. So what we're asking is that we allow us to change that or amend the county sick leave policy to include the limitation of unused accrued paid earned sick time hours not to exceed 72 hours from 1 year to the next.
Thank you for that. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Now we move down to the MAC Legislative Conference. We appear to have a scheduling conflict. Administrator Murphy, you want to brief us on that?
Yep, there's a couple of things here. Just want to let you know that the Michigan Association of Counties, or MAC Legislative Conference, is going to be held April 7th through the 9th in Lansing. If any of you desire to attend that session, you need to let us know right away so that we can get you registered. I believe the deadline is a little bit later yet this month. I think the 26th or the 28th. Because of the MAC session being on those dates, that directly conflicts with our Personnel Ways and Means and Board of Commissioners meeting for April. So I had conversations with our board chairman, and one of the options that we were looking at is to move both Personnel Ways and Means and the Board of Commissioners meeting to the following week. We have checked with a number of the commissioners. It looks like the majority of the commissioners will be able to make that change work in their schedules, with the adjustment of Ways and Means not being at 10 o'clock, but being at 10:30. The reason for that is there's another meeting in this room at 10 o'clock on that day. However, some of our commissioners have also indicated that they are not able to attend based on they have some scheduling conflicts. So I just wanted to bring this to everyone's attention today to make sure that we are good with moving those meetings so that we can get them posted and still be in compliance with the Open Meetings Act.
How many commissioners would be available?
Yeah.
Do we know for certain?
I believe it was 7,
We have 2 conflicts. I mean,
either 2 conflicts and 1 not respond.
okay.
But I
Well-
think if we keep it the way it is with the commissioners going, we may have the same problem, right?
If we leave the meetings where they are, we do have at least 1 commissioner that is going to the MAC conference. The deputy administrator and I are planning on going to the conference. In fact, we have already reserved and paid for that. And we did that after speaking to you, because one of the options would be that I would stay and not go to the MAC conference so that I could be here for the meetings, or you could have the meeting without me, either way.
And, you know, these conferences are great. The networking that goes on and the information that's available, especially with the administrator and assistant administrator is, you know, priceless. So, we need them to continue to be involved with these things. So I would move that we make the change.
Is there support?
Support.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, same sign. Matter carries. Now we're not taking any action, but this is the time of year where we get ready for the administrator's annual review. Kim, did you want to offer some comments on that? I can expound if you like. Makes no difference to me.
Sure, if you want me to, I
Sure,
can.
please.
For our newer commissioners, I think the rest of you understand the process, but for the newer commissioners, once a year, usually this time of year, performance evaluations are conducted of all of our county staff. And in this case, we're referring to the county administrator. The process is attached so that you can understand what that looks like. Currently, it's the board chairman and the vice chairman do a lot of the legwork and interviewing some of the departments and putting your evaluation information together and accumulating it for one kind of summary, if you will. So I've attached a copy of what that performance planning review looks like. Each of you will need to complete one of these. I've included it in your electronic packet. If you need a hard copy, I can get you a copy also so that you can fill it out. And then what happens is typically the evaluation is done. I usually do ask for a closed session evaluation at Ways and Means. And then the following day at the Board of Commissioners meeting, a resolution is presented for the board to consider, and it is made public as the results of what my evaluation was, as well as any goals or objectives that the commissioners have of me. So that is the process.
Thank you. And to our newer commissioners, if you have any questions about the process, you can always reach out to Jim or to Administrator Murphy, and they can help you understand that. Any other comments? Commissioner Stimson?
The intention is to do this at the April meeting.
Yes.
Any reason we can't do it at the March 9th meeting?
That's time we,
After tomorrow?
We have a March 9th meeting
Oh,
at the end of
night,
the
you
month.
said ninth.
Night. I'm so sorry. It's just simply because from what I understand, a couple or 2 or 3 perhaps of the commissioners won't be present on that April meeting.
It does appear from the toll that we did, we may have 2 that are not in attendance at the April meeting.
Commissioner Van Dorn?
yeah, it's going to be really difficult, Dave, because we got to interview some department heads and time people put it together. So
One reason we
I appreciate that, but I think one of the major things that this body does is the review of the county administrator. So setting in a time that we know that 1/3 of the body or whatever won't be present doesn't seem very productive.
Is there any reason we can't do it in May?
I don't see any reason we can't if we.
That works too. I just,
Yeah, I'd prefer to do it that way because it'll give us more time, you know, scheduling with, I know in doing it last year when we did it, we had to get these department heads scheduled and go in and talk to them. So I guess, and the contract as we know, is automatically renewed. So I'd move to postpone it till May.
I mean, I don't want to hold Miss Murphy up either, but I'm just.
I understand.
Makes sense that
I can wait another month to find out what you think about my job performance. Yes.
just seems to make more sense than to push through.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
So-
Multiple supports. All in favor signify by saying, aye. Oh, sorry.
I just want to say that I concur with Commissioner Stimson. This is a very vital, very important decision we're making. This is the person that's leading this county on the daily operation and programs. And I think it'd be vital that all commissioners be present to have the discussion as to what we may or may not do.
Any other discussion? Then we need a vote. Oh, Commissioner Krasny.
While I share the concern of all the commissioners being here, I'm quite confident that Ms. Murphy continues to improve in her role as administrator.
And she enjoys broad support among the commissioners. There's a little question. So thank you for that, Dustin. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Now, the final matter for us before, well, not the final matter for the folks in the audience, but we now have a real estate acquisition matter in front of us that the law permits us to go into executive session. To those of you here in the public, we will be gone for a while. You certainly are free to stay, and we will have a final public comment period at that time. At this point, I would entertain a motion to enter into a closed session.
Moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. I think we need any discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Ungst,
Yes.
Commissioner Blanco,
Yes.
Commissioner Collins.
Yes.
Commissioner Daly.
Yeah.
Commissioner Krasny.
Yes.
Commissioner Martis.
Yes.
Commissioner Stimson. Commissioner Tilson.
Yes.
Commissioner Van Dorn.
Yes.
9 yeas.
We'll move into executive session.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're good.
Him. Yeah. Him. You want to?
We were just discussing that.
How much?
Discussions in closed session. I would entertain a motion to approve the 5 settlements and acquisitions as recommended by Mead and Hunt and MDOT.
I would so move and also add to that, that the signatory be Stephanie Ward from Mead and Hunt.
Support.
The only thing I would suggest is perhaps just a representative from Mead and Hunt on behalf of the county, given her current,
Fine,
I just don't want what's going on in our personal life.
sure.
That's fine. So the motion is that we approve the 5 settlement agreements and acquisitions as recommended by Mead and Hunt and MDOT, and a representative from Mead and Hunt will be the signatory for these agreements.
Correct.
Support.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Are there any additional items for the consent agenda? Is there any public comment? Any commissioner comment? Administrator Murphy.
Not a commissioner comment, but this is for you. You each received a pair of sunglasses and a pen at your station. And if you noticed, there's a little bit of language on the side of the sunglasses that says, "Your future looks bright at Lenawee." The reason you have these is once we leave this meeting, we are going to be going over to a career or job fair for young people over at Lenawee Christian Center. And we wanted to let you have some of the information that we are going to be handing out to these young people. So
Or they call it swag.
it is also known as swag.
Well, it's quite a spectacle. Well, all right. Any further? It's been moved to adjourn. Is there a second? Support. It's been supported. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned.